Greetings all, and welcome to a video not about Latin. Instead, this video is going to start with a memory test. Now, it's going to be a bit weird, but trust me, I am going somewhere with this. It's also going to go really fast, so get ready. Well then, that went fast. Let's see how much you remember, because this was, after all, a memory test. What was the name of the planet that the game was set on? Option C, it was Hoxis. Question 2. What colour were the platforms that the engineer fired? Well, I don't know if you got this, it was B, orange. Question 3. How do you get more ammo in-game? Thankfully, it's not paying with real-world currency, it is instead an in-game currency. Question 4. What was the name of the class who carried a revolver? That was actually the gunner. And last question. How many legs did the enemy bugs known as Glyphids have? Well, unfortunately for arachnophobes, it was 8. If you managed to get all of them right, well done for already having played the game. It's good, isn't it? So the question becomes, why was that so hard? I gave you all the information, the questions are simple, why didn't you get all of them right? Well, let's try again, but we'll go a little bit slower this time. Deep Rock Galactic is a 4-player cooperative first-person shooter game. You play as one of 4 space dwarfs working for a dystopian hyper-capitalist mining company which is attempting to extract incredibly valuable minerals from the alien planet named Hoxis 4. Attempting being the key word, since Hoxis is an unimaginably hostile planet populated by a variety of dangerous native species, the most dangerous and common of which being the enormous 8-legged bugs known as Glyphids, which range in size from dinner plate to house. In the background lore of the game, the planet is so dangerous to mine that other competitors have totally given up, even on autonomous drones, due to their high rate of failure. The Deep Rock Galactic company is determined to extract its wealth, however, and is instead sending down teams of lethally equipped and totally insane crack dwarven miners to carve their way through the terrain and the bugs alike. You can choose to play as one of 4 classes, each of which has a distinct role to play in the game. As well as the pickaxe and chemical glow sticks shared by all classes, the gunner brings an enormous minigun and a revolver, a bubble, force field, shield, and zip lines to help get around. Whilst the driller totes a flamethrower, pistol, C4, and huge handheld drills to drill through the 100% destructible procedurally generated terrain. The engineer brings a semi-automatic shotgun, grenade launcher, sentry guns, and a platform launcher, which fires large orange platforms across the cave to partially embed themselves into the terrain, allowing you and your fellow dwarves to bridge gaps and shape the ground around you. The scout possesses the least firepower, bringing only an assault rifle and sawn-off shotgun, to go along with his grappling hook and flare guns. Since all the mining takes place deep underground, lighting up the caverns is very important. The game sends you to a wide range of environments on a variety of missions, such as collecting valuable minerals in the walls, or escorting an autonomous drill dozer in its efforts to crack into a oyster-like shell of goodies.
keep it clear of bugs.
At other times, you are sent in to purge the local wildlife before they get too dangerous, or to recover lost equipment from previous failures. Missions will spawn endless waves of bugs, and ammunition is very limited. You actually need to pay for more resupply pods with a mineral found in the caves.
Supply pod launched. Better stand back.
But success gives you credits and, possibly, if you find them, resources to upgrade your equipment in order to take on ever more dangerous assignments. If this might be your sort of thing, and you're old enough to play it, then I really do recommend it. The community is lovely, and the developers deliberately designed the game to be as cooperative and friendly as possible. Amongst many other things, there's even a button purely dedicated to cheering on your fellows, and all rewards are completely shared, meaning it's always better to work with your teammates against the horrifying nightmare bugs. Well, I'm hoping that was a lot easier to understand. Even if you don't play video games, I'm pretty sure you have a better idea of what the game entails after the second explanation. Why? Well, it's for the same kind of reason as why reading Beethoven's Fifth Symphony doesn't really mean you know what it sounds like. Why watching Ronaldo take a free kick doesn't mean you know how to curl it in from 30 yards. And why watching YouTubers do chemistry experiments doesn't mean you're gonna pass your test. After all, I'm pretty sure quite a few of you would still struggle with this test. YouTube's great at introducing a topic or giving you more detail, but it's not a substitute for putting more time in. Humans learn best when we combine the audio and the visual, and ideally the kinesthetic too. The important thing is to understand how you learn and to know yourself as a learner. Now, that's a phrase that some of you may well be recognising from the King's learning habits, specifically from reflecting here. And some of you may immediately be turning off. After all, isn't this learning habits thing just something that happens in school? No, is the short answer to that, and let me give you a couple of demonstrations as to why.
Reloading. Platform. Platforms placed. One platform, ready to use.
Now I'm going to argue that those are pretty good examples of knowing when to work alone and when to work with others, part of the collaboration learning habit. After all, in the darkness of Hox's 4, you're gonna get eaten if you're off by yourself, but when you're working with your mates, you can squash even the largest bug. Deep Rock Galactic has also given me quite possibly the genuinely best example I've ever seen of using others as a model for your own work. The engineer's gun can be upgraded to have bug repellent, but when we started playing the game, my friends and I just couldn't work out what the point was. We tried standing on the platforms, but the bugs still came to eat us. We just didn't get it. Until we started playing online with randomers, completely unknown people somewhere in the world. With not a word spoken, we watched someone else play the engineer and use those platforms to direct the bugs around the map, controlling their movement and allowing us to concentrate our fire. My experience of the game has been full of those moments, both copying what others do and teaching new players to use those strategies in turn, often without a single word being exchanged. I'm willing to bet that if you thought about it for a second, you could also name a moment outside of school where you used others as a model for your own work. Whether or not that's for learning how to play a video game, for learning how to drive a car, or even, God forbid, for learning a dance from TikTok. It's why they're called learning habits, not school habits. As the philosopher Will Durant said when he was summarising Nicomachean Ethics by Aristotle and a famous Athenian philosopher, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for listening.